The Matrix is actually a self-help film. So I was just kind of looking at it from that angle the other day. I've read Joseph Campbell a long time ago in The Hero's Journey. We can look at just about any film or book or any piece of art in that direction and see the hero's journey. The person starts out as this basic thing and then goes through this series of trials and then becomes someone completely brand new. Well, we see that in the Matrix as well. So what we see in the movie itself is we see the person who becomes Neo, Thomas Anderson. That represents that person who's us, who's born into this world, who doesn't know any better. We've just kind of given into the environment around us, and we've just chosen to live the life that we're living. And it's kind of depressing, and it's very illogical, rational, dry, drab universe. But I think part of the symbolization of him being a hacker is that part inside of us that just doesn't trust what's going on. We just know that there's something more out there, and we just don't know what it is, but we're going to look for it. And we know the only place we're going to look for it is in the places that we've not been told that we can't look. So that's kind of how that basically starts out. And I think when we look at Trinity, what she represents when she first comes to visit Neo and pulls him into the car at night is night represents, secret, unconscious, things that are kind of happening below the surface. It's not this big momentous thing that happens, and what Trinity represents is our will, our wisdom, and our intuition, those parts of us that we just tend to really shoo away when we're stuck in this logical, rational universe that everybody else is in. So what Trinity does is she tells Thomas or Neo, that there's something else going on, this, that, and the other thing. And that's our way of our will, wisdom, and intuition speaking to us at first. And we don't believe it because we're so in our comfort zone, and our ego doesn't want to change that it just ignores that information. But she says, follow the white rabbit. So, when Neo's out of his apartment and he opens his door, that's opening the door to his mind. It's opening up to possibility. So when he goes to chase the white rabbit, what he's doing is he's chasing that one little possibility. And that's what leads him on and on and on and on to the next. And then so what happens is they come to rescue him from work that one day. And where does he work? Metacortex. We can think about it. The movie is about the overarching psychology of ourselves. So when they come to rescue him and there's this big battle scene, it's like that inner conflict is really starting to take place in you, and these different parts of you are battling themselves. So this is when we start to see Smith. Now Smith represents that subconscious part of you that is automatically just running. That's just how we work, and the reason it's Smith is because it's generic and there's so many of them. It's those errant thoughts and feelings and emotions and behaviors that just take place in us all over that are just attacking that part of us that wants to be whole. So they get him out of there. And then as we're moving on, we look at Cypher. Cypher represents that part of us that wants to stay ignorant, that wants to stay the same, that enjoys the comfort zone that we're in, and knows that changing is going to be incredibly difficult. We look at Nebuchadnezzar, the ship. That represents your brain and all those different parts of you that are warring within themselves in there, but they're trying to work together. That's why, Morpheus is in there, Trinity's in there, Neo, Thomas is in there. So what ends up happening in the movie is they end up having to go, battle the machines, and then, Neo goes to see the Oracle, and what the Oracle represents is those inner and outer influences that can really help push us along in what's happening. And in it she says, Trinity loves you. And basically what that means is at one point you're going to be married in your conscious mind to that will, that wisdom and intuition that's going on, but you have to die to your old self first. That's why she says you're not the one, because he isn't the one yet, because he hasn't fully integrated himself yet. He hasn't dealt with the issues from his past yet. That's why she points at the sign, know yourself. She made a big point of doing that, because that's what we have to do, is we got to know ourselves. And when we know ourselves, then we can let that old self of ours die. It's really neat how that happens. So as we go along and they have that battle and Neo dies and then he's reborn, that's how our ego, our old personality we're finally done with it, and we say, all right, I'm ready, I'm new. So what happens at that point is he merges with the Matrix, he merges with Smith, and that's how he wins. He doesn't destroy it by getting rid of it. It's just the same thing with us. We don't get rid of our shadow side, we don't get rid of our subconscious. What we do is we merge with it. As we're stepping more in conscious awareness and we're reprogramming it properly, we're actually making it into a tool instead of a weapon that actually works with us, not against us. And that's when he becomes Neo, he becomes the one. That's when we become one, we become whole, we become solid and one in ourselves, and those battles just don't take place anymore because we've overcome them. The machines themselves, they represent all those automatic behaviors in us that just take place. That's why they have no people running them. There's no soul in it. It's just emptiness. It's just the cycle and the loop going on and on and on and on, and it's never ending. So that's why we battle those machines. So the end of the movie, it's that reconciliation. We take those parts of ourselves that we like, and we take those parts of ourselves that have been running us, and we flip the script and we say, hey, I'm gonna run all that stuff now, and you're all under my control. It really is beautiful. So I really hope this helps you understand the Matrix from a different perspective, and it helps you understand your own life, because that's really my aim to do is. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you.